I'm here in the studio, and everybody needs to know what is it that happened. This review needs to be shared with everybody. Listen, well, see, I just finished what's been called one of the worst cruises you could possibly take. See, I was nervous from the start, and instead of risking, getting one of those regular cabins, because everybody was talking smack about it.
That's disgusting. Oh, yo, what is that?
I hate this. I'm upset.
I thought the Yacht Club was going to be my saving grace. But guess what? Even that didn't go as planned. If you think luxury guarantees a flawless experience, think again. You're about to hear the raw truth about what really went down. This is a story you don't want to miss. Stay tuned. First, let me just say it. Miami's port was a disaster. Seriously. From the moment we pulled up, it felt like we had stepped into the middle of a chaotic, stress-filled circus. People were everywhere, voices were raised, and the lines, look at the security line. Oh, those snaking lines seemed endless, with no direction or organization in sight. It was honestly one of the worst first impressions you could imagine for a cruise. Everything felt like if it was on the verge of falling apart. At this moment, I couldn't help but think, oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? But then the Yacht Club came to the rescue. Everything changed in an instant, and I'm not exaggerating. It was like being plucked from the madness and dropped into pure luxury. One moment, I'm standing there questioning my choices, and the next, I'm being pushed, rushed in quickness away from the chaos like royalty. And we are en route to the MSC Scape. Forget those long lines. Everyone else was trapped in. We got escorted to a private lounge like we had a secret pass no one else knew about. There was champagne, water, a bunch of comfort, all while the port outside felt like the Titanic waiting to happen. Now, don't get me wrong. The MSC terminal itself was nothing special. In fact, it felt kind of like a rundown maze. But once you got that Yacht Club bracelet slapped onto your wrist, it's a game changer. You're treated like a VIP from the jump. And before we knew it, the butler showed up, ready to personally escort us onto the ship. All right, we're heading into the ship. And we are the first ones going in. Yeah, like you heard it, we were the first ones on. Talking about flipping the script, MSC, but you still got it wrong. Now, let me tell you, once we set foot on the ship, it was like going into a different world. How you guys doing? Wow, this is nice. Real nice. Everything sparkled. The ship was sleek, elegant, and dripping. With class. It almost made me forget the chaotic nightmare we had just left behind at the terminal. Almost. The staff wasted no time in welcoming us. How you doing? Thank you. But you still got it wrong. And immediately guided us to complete the muster drill. This is one of those things that every cruise veteran knows can be a huge pain. Running around trying to get your card scanned, people packed together like sardines, the whole process just dragging and dragging on forever. But not here on this MSC cruise. MSC nailed it. We got our muster drill out of the way early and with zero hassle. It was so fast and smooth that honestly, I was impressed. I was really impressed. But you still got it wrong. I heard all the bad stories about how this process ruins the start of other cruises. But MSC, they were on top of it. Finally, I can't even imagine what's it like for the non-yacht club passengers. Dealing with the muster drill while navigating those insanely slow elevators. I've heard people complain about running up and down trying to get scanned in time, stuck in those long elevator lines. But me, I was already on my way to relax with a drink in my hand. Listen, you know what we need to talk about? We need to talk about those elevators.
But this is what they look like. You actually push the button for the floor you want to go to, and it tells you which elevator you're going to get on, and then you wait.
Yep, those elevators. It deserves its own section. If you read any MSC Cruise review, you've probably seen people complain about the elevators, and I hate to say it, but they're absolutely right. The elevators are a disaster. Slow, overcrowded, and beyond frustrating. But here's where being in the yacht club saved the day again.
Doors open. Doors closed.
We had our own private elevator access. No waiting, no packed crowds, no stress. It was like having our personal express lane while everyone else was stuck waiting 20 to 30 minutes just to go up a few floors. And believe me, it was chaos. Outside of the yacht club, I can't tell you how many people I heard talking about the elevators. And that's why we need to give it its own section. As the days passed on the cruise, fewer people even attempted using the elevators because of how long they took. So where did everyone go? That's a good question. You know where they went? They took the stairs. And just like that, the stairway became the new bottleneck. It felt like MSC had intentionally transformed the ship into a floating fitness challenge. If there were a contest for best fitness cruise, MSC would win hands down. Who needs a gym when every trip to dinner doubles as a leg day? At one point, my wife and I were heading to the theater where another passenger who wasn't in the yacht club somehow managed to squeeze into our elevator. He looked at us, we looked at him, and he looked at us back like he had discovered a secret passage and asked, "How did you get an elevator so fast?" He stated, "I waited half an hour last night. I just smiled and pointed to my yacht club wristband." The ultimate VIP pass. His face said it all. Jealousy, disbelief, and probably regret that he didn't book the yacht club. I mean, while others were stressing about getting an elevator, I was chilling with a cocktail in hand, not a care in the world. The yacht club elevator situation, totally game changing.
50 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the rooms, because this was another area I had seen some pretty alarming reviews about before booking the cruise.
So gross. Is that mold? Ew, that definitely looks like mold.
But you still got it wrong. People were talking about mold in the shower, stained bedclothes, and just an overall lack of upkeeping. I was honestly a bit nervous when we were heading to our cabin for the first time. But as soon as we walked in, I felt a wave of relief. Thank you, Jesus. It was like God was just blessing me. It washed all over me. And it was like stepping into a suite that had just been prepared for royalty. First off, the smell, it was crisp and fresh, like the entire room had been meticulously aired out and scrubbed down. I don't know if it was just our room or if they just go the extra mile for the yacht club guests. But it felt like we were the very first people to ever stay there. The bed was perfectly arranged and every inch of the room looked pristine. And let me tell you, the shower, not a single sign of mold. Not even on the clothing line, where people hang their wet bathing suits. None of the nightmare stories I read online came true in our room. Now, one of the perks for being in the yacht club was the obsessive attention to detail. Housekeeping didn't just make a good first impression. They were consistent the entire trip. It wasn't like those situations where things start off great and by midweek, you're starting to notice things slipping. Nope. Not in my room. Our room was kept in flawless conditions from day 1 to day 7. Every time we walked in, it felt like a brand new experience all over again. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Because I've seen so many mixed reviews about MSC food. Before I boarded, I kept reading how the food was bland, cold, or downright unappetizing. So naturally, my expectations were set pretty low. But here's the thing. MSC has some hits and some misses. But when they got it right, it was right. Let's start with the Yacht Club restaurant because that's where we dined most of the nights. This is where MSC absolutely nailed it. The meals were hot, fresh, and made with care. My wife is a bit of a picky eater, so she tested them a few times with special requests that weren't even on the menu, and they pulled through every single time. I mean, they made dishes that weren't even listed. One night, we had these incredible dumplings. They were so good that we went for seconds. And the desserts, oh man, the desserts were top tier. Everything was so well made. I was actually shocked about reading all the bad stories. But of course, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. When we ventured out of the yacht club and hit the regular ship's buffet, where all the other passengers were eating, it felt like we were on a completely different cruise. The food there was lukewarm at best, and the variety wasn't nearly as impressive. I mean, it wasn't inedible, but let's just say I wasn't rushing back for a second plate. The service at the buffet was also hit or miss. Sometimes you'd get lucky with attentive staff, and other times it felt like you were invisible. Then there was Hola Tacos, one of the special dining spots.
Quesadillas, enchiladas, queso fundido, and a beautiful wife.
We ended up eating there twice. And let me tell you, the tacos and quesadillas were the highlight. I'm talking mouth-watering, cheesy goodness with every bite. And the frozen margaritas. Thank you for this. Awesome. Hand down, the best margaritas I've had on any cruise. Strawberry, mango, passion fruit, you name it. They had it and they were all amazing. However, I can't say the same for some of the other items on the menu. The burritos and enchiladas were forgettable. And the desserts? Ugh. Let's just say you're not missing out if you skip it. Now, if you're thinking about going for the all-you-can-eat option at Hola Tacos, I'll say it's definitely worth it. If you're planning on sitting there for a while, drinking margaritas, and snacking on tacos all night. Otherwise, the a la carte option is good for a quick bite. To see more of our food and drink experience, don't forget to check out our blog at www.travelwiththericans.com. Now, let's dive into the spa experience, which is a highlight for yacht club guests. You get unlimited access to the thermal spa. And while that sounds incredible, here's the catch. It's not exclusive to the yacht club. Other MSC staterooms can access it too. Our experience was decent, but came with some drawbacks. On sea days, the spa was almost always packed, making it feel more like a crowded marketplace than a relaxing retreat. However, on port days, it transformed into a peaceful spa like it's supposed to. I even managed to sneak in a nap in the salt room, which was pure heaven. My wife's favorite spot was the snow room. Yes, it's as cold as it sounds. And let's not forget the hot tub. It was heavenly, providing those deep tissue massages that melt our stress away. One of the standout moments was our couple's massage. I have to say it was the highlight of our cruise. They worked their magic, and you know what? They put me into such a deep sleep that I might as well have been in another dimension. My wife found it very hilarious. She enjoyed hearing me snore away. I have no idea what they did, but it was like they hit the off button. I think when I can't sleep, they should have gave the secret to my wife, right? Or when she doesn't want to deal with me, right? She could just press that button and I'm done. Okay. Now, being a travel advisor, I must give you guys a tip. Make sure to book your spa treatment before the cruise because the onboard prices can be outrageous. MSC dropped the ball big time. And we got to talk about this. This Wi-Fi issue you guys have on these boats is very serious because I'm telling you, that price seems way too much. Let me tell you, $200 for the streaming package is nonsense. The Wi-Fi was downright terrible. If you're someone who likes to stay connected while cruising, prepare to be frustrated. We had the so-called streaming Wi-Fi, but trust me, the only thing streaming was my patience. Yep, it was streaming out the window, MSC. Logging in was a nightmare. And once we managed to connect, it was like trying to browse the internet in the early 2000s when AOL existed. You got mail. I don't got nothing, all right? It was slow, glitchy, and barely functional. My wife and I each connected our phones, but we accidentally logged in on both of our phones twice, which meant the system thought we had 4 devices instead of 2. So we ended up wasting our 2 extra slots for connecting other devices like our tablet or laptop, and good luck getting that fixed. Customer service wasn't much help when it came to resolving Wi-Fi issues. Streaming Netflix or YouTube? Forget it. That wasn't happening. However, if you're someone who actually enjoys disconnecting, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Why pay for a Wi-Fi package if you're just going to spend your time frustrated? Save that money for something more enjoyable on board or even off board, like we did in Dominican Republic, riding on the beach on horses. Make sure you check out that video. You might get a laugh and you might want to see it if you're thinking about riding horses in Dominican Republic. It wasn't what we thought it was. Or you can even go to Hola Tacos and get an extra round of frozen margaritas. But for those of you who are remote workers, it's a different story. I can see the greatness of being able to work from a cruise. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, not so fast. The internet just doesn't hold up for anything more than the basics. Sending emails? Sure. If they don't have large attachments, it might work. But for anything requiring a bit more bandwidth, you're out of luck, buddy. So while it's great for light tasks, don't expect to knock out serious work while on board. If you want to see some of the photos we did manage to upload, follow me on Instagram. And if you're curious about the MSC picture package, check out my full video review for all the details. Now, for more tips on maximizing your onboard experience, don't forget to visit travelwiththericans.com. Now, let's talk about the entertainment on board. And this is where things start to dip a bit. I had high hopes, but honestly, it was a bit underwhelming. The shows weren't bad, but they weren't exactly jaw-dropping either. They felt more like something you'd catch at a local theater than a world-class cruise. MSC really tries to create a fun atmosphere, but when you compare it to the high-energy Broadway-style performance you find on Royal Caribbeans, for example, MSC just doesn't hit the same note. But in true MSC fashion, there were some hits and misses. One thing I would say is that MSC knows how to keep the vibe alive. After a long day off the ship, when returning from port, they had live DJs pumping up the crowd with great music, and it really brought a sense of energy back onto the ship. So while the evening shows were just okay, the lively atmosphere post-port was a nice touch. Now here's where things get interesting. For Yacht Club guests, the Yacht Club had its own thing going on. They had live musicians playing in the Yacht Club lounge, creating the perfect vibe to unwind after a day of adventure. Paired with the butler service, it felt like a cozy, exclusive spot far removed from the chaos of the rest of the ship. MSC, I hope you're taking notes. However, one big issue I had was that there wasn't a separate entertainment schedule for Yacht Club guests. It would have been great to know when and where these live performances were happening. It felt like I had to stumble upon them rather than plan for them, which was a bit of a letdown for such a premium experience. If you're someone who loves a good show, you might find yourself wishing for a bit more. But if you enjoy chilling to some great tunes in an exclusive setting, then the Yacht Club definitely delivers. And for all you shoppers out there, don't expect too much in the onboard shops. Most of what they offered was MSC branded merchandise, and it wasn't terrible, but if you were hoping for a little more variety, you won't find it here. If you're curious about more behind the scene moments from our cruise, don't forget to visit travelwiththeRicans.com and check out our blog. We have to talk about the service in the Yacht Club, especially the ladies and gentlemen who work in this area. They kick it off right. Their attention to detail and commitment to excellence are evident from the moment you step inside. These crew members are always going above and beyond to ensure that every guest feels like a VIP. From our butlers checking in on us regularly to the bar staff who remembered our drink preferences, their service made a significant impact in our overall experience. Now, I do want to give a special shout out to all those that really made our cruise great. There's some names I don't remember, but I will post pictures here of you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the attentive team in the dining area and the guy that cleaned my room, also our butler. I really appreciate you guys. You guys were amazing and made our trip great. Each one of you contributed to making our stay truly unforgettable. And you guys really fueled me to make this video. I see a lot of potential in the MSC Yacht Club. Now, while enjoying the Yacht Club, we also had the pleasure of meeting some amazing couples who were fellow passengers. Socializing in that relaxing atmosphere was a highlight of the cruise. And it felt great to connect with others who were also enjoying the luxury experience. Now, their unwavering commitment to providing an extraordinary experience truly made the Yacht Club feel like a home away from home. And it's like they say, the Yacht Club is a yacht within a yacht or a cruise within a cruise. You guys MSC really nailed it. This is like the first class of cruise ships. Drum roll, please. I finally finished the video. No, I didn't. Let's take a moment to reflect on the pros and cons. On one hand, you have the luxury perks, the attentive service, the exclusive spaces, and the overall sense of being treated like royalty. The private elevator access, gourmet dining, and the amazing spa experience all contributed to a cruise atmosphere that feels elevated and special. However, it's important to weigh these benefits against the downsides. The general chaos at the terminal, the mixed quality of entertainment, and the bad AOL dial-up Wi-Fi can be hard to overlook. Plus the fact that many amenities like the thermal spa are not exclusive to the yacht club guests raises the question, does the price justify the experience? But you still got it wrong. So is it worth the extra money to book the yacht club? If you value exclusivity, personalized service, and a touch of luxury that transforms your cruise into a truly memorable getaway, then absolutely. But if you're on a budget or don't mind mingling with the large crowd, you might find just as much joy in the main areas of the ship. As a travel advisor, what many call a travel specialist, I can help you navigate these choices. If you're looking to book your next cruise and want to explore special perks or pricing, don't hesitate to shoot me a DM or email me at xavier@travelwiththericans.com. And be sure to check out this video that discusses why using a travel agent can enhance your trip compared to doing it alone. In the end, it all comes down to what you seek in a cruise experience.